Hi, my name is Jazmine Hanson, and this is my video portion of my midterm. So I do an online textbook, so I can't really annotate with that text and show it to you because I'd have to click on all the little icons. So I have all my notes right here. So I'm going to show you all my pages of notes that I use and that I link to the text. So this is kind of what they look like. Here, I'll change the view so you can see. Okay, so here are my notes that are linked to the chapters. I have the questions regarding, this is for chapter 1 by the way. So I have the questions regarding the learning outcomes and my vocabulary bank that I use, and then summaries on each page. So here's just a little bit of what I do. I usually draw diagrams, so that's one of the techniques I use, also highlighting as seen on the first page, right there and right there, to sync the different important key terms I can relate throughout my notes, and right there and right there. Anyways, my diagrams to show, and then I kind of write little memos to make reminders so that it's easy for me to look back and understand. And I have all the different sections that I choose from chapters that are important. So I have technology and all my notes, and then the summaries, along with law and ethics. The same thing, so I use little symbols to explain the goods and the bads. So I usually use green as good and red as bad. And I draw symbols to represent each section. And since I'm taking biochemistry, I link my diagrams to that-ish, so it's easy for me to remember. And then I have all the different sections related to my drawn diagram. Okay, my chapter 2 notes, so same thing with the symbolism. And the stars that I use indicate how the important messages are. So I have the key term and then the definitions, and then my summaries. And then once again the highlighting, the symbols, the icons, the margin notes, and then I use little idea notes, so I take what I think would make sense in this sort of situation and then use that to collaborate. So that's my symbol for collaboration. And then this is my end of chapter 2 note. So I've shown you how I use keys, summarizing, color coding, highlighting, margin notes, and asking questions. So right here is just a little bit more of color coding and summarizing. And I draw graphs to show different perspectives that are shown in the book so that I can relate back to this and not only the text because it is on my computer. I like to relate things to my life, so I make sure that my symbols are big so I can easily identify. I like to draw kind of emojis that are cute. Again, summarizing. This is all about my communication understandings and all of that, as you can see right here and right here. Highlighting, symbols. I use listing as well. That's a good technique for annotating. And then just go through each section that I feel is important throughout the chapters. I also like to draw huge diagrams and then explain in the margins how these relate and kind of come together to help me understand the unit of the chapter. This is for chapter 4, and as you can see I did a lot more information on lists and stuff like that. And then I use arrows to draw how each thing correlates to each section. I draw tables and then the text for examples. And these are all from the book that I have transferred to my own notes, so I can easily have them available since I cannot annotate my textbook. Chapter 5, same thing, the color coding, vocabulary, summaries. I like to highlight my words and make my headings really big so I can easily locate the sections and have my notes readily available for any tests I'm allowed to use them for, as well as for managing the business I do at home. Arrows to show the correlation from each section in my headings, so I do instead and then the arrows to point down, and then I kind of bring it all together in a section down here. Summaries, tables, diagrams, listings, symbols. I kind of draw symbols that make sense to me, so like active is straightforward, so I draw a straight arrow, and then passive, you more use your words to go around the topic instead of just blatantly stating. Once again, some more general notes. I use bullets, symbols, and then you can see the symbols go through the text. And colors to bring attention to what's important on the page and what the page is about. And then the important details are in stars. Also, I use stars as kind of a definition cinctor, so I stars to identify where I put definitions. Last chapter of notes is chapter 6 that I did. Chapter 6 there wasn't too much vocabulary I didn't know, so I just ended up having readability in that section, and then all the questions I ask along, and these all do with the SLOs for each chapter, so I kind of take what those say and then I ask the questions and answer them as I go through the text. Each is labeled, the questions are green, answers are red, and that's a similar pattern through all my notes that you'll see. I start my first page with the vocab and questions, kind of like a KWL. Revision, the importance, and then I use my symbolism, my summaries, listings with numbers, and then the subheadings I indent and dash to make sure that it's noted this correlates to that, but it is less important. And yeah, just some of my notes that I've taken. So just a little reflection on the different techniques that I use. I've used highlighting, key terms, symbols, graphs, arrows, subheadings, not too much underlining, but it's since I can't use the direct text to annotate in the margins, so I do my best in taking the utmost amount of notes that I can and use those as formats for annotating. I ask a lot of questions based on the SLOs located in each chapter. And I use color coordination, keys, highlighting, I think I already said that, and listing. And so yeah, I hope this is good. Thank you.